Hey guys, this is Austin. This is the 2019 Razer Blade Stealth, and it might just be my perfect laptop. What I've been looking for is a thin and light 13-inch laptop which has a quad-core processor, dedicated graphics, and decent build quality. Now the closest to something like that I've found would be the 13-inch MacBook Pro with Touch Bar, but at $1,800 it still lacks those dedicated graphics. Fast forward to 2019 though, and we have the Razer Blade Stealth with pretty much everything I've ever dreamed of.
Still 2018.
It's a 2019 it's the 2019 Razer Blade, it counts. Razer have been making the Blade Stealth for a few years at this point, and while they've steadily tweaked the design as well as improved the performance, it's still been an ultrabook and not a gaming PC. Sure, you could plug in a Razer Core with the external GPU and be able to get some decent gaming performance, but up until the 2018 model you were still limited to dual core, and it just wasn't quite the full package, whereas this guy can game right out of the box because it does have those dedicated graphics. The base model does still come with Intel integrated graphics, but if you opt for the mid-spec or higher, you do get the NVIDIA MX150 inside. Of course, you're not going to blow away the 15-inch Blade as far as gaming performance goes, but it is a huge step up over just having integrated graphics. Not only does it unlock a fair bit of gaming as well as some video editing, but importantly, this is not the standard MX150. It is the higher 25-watt TDP version, which does come with 4 gigs of GDDR5 memory. For example, Fortnite is no problem. We're easily able to play at 1080p medium here, and we're getting anywhere between 45 to 60 frames per second. Black Ops 4 is also totally playable here at 1080p on low. Now the frame rate is pretty solid, we're getting 45 to 50, but if it was me, I would sacrifice just a little bit of resolution to smooth it out and get a solid locked 60, but it is totally playable. The Stealth has also been updated with the latest Whiskey Lake processors. In this case, the only option is the Core i7-8650U, 8565U. It's the new one. It's the one that boosts to like 4.6 gigahertz. So on top of it being a quad-core processor, the nice thing here is that we actually have that extra turbo boost speed to make it feel very responsive. Now I've taken a look at a lot of laptops lately, and some of them do feel a little bit slower when they don't quite boost as high, but this feels just as fast as pretty much any kind of gaming PC that I would try for normal web browsing and stuff that you do every single day. This mid-spec model I have here is outfitted with 16 gigs of dual channel memory, and that's backed up by a 256 gig NVMe drive, which is really quite fast. Put it all together, and if I was building my dream 13-inch laptop, this is pretty much what I would choose. A great CPU, decent GPU speeds, as well as the rest of the specs all wrapped up in a nice aluminum package. The entire design is new this year, so this means that we have smaller bezels, which means that the entire laptop is a little bit less wide. It's also got a more squared off design, and it's all of course made out of this matte black aluminum. I think not only does it look nice, but importantly it also feels nice. Part of the reason it feels so good is because it does start life as a giant chunk of aluminum, which is then CNC milled down to the actual body that we have here. Razer is one of the very few companies who does this in addition to Apple, and it does make a difference to the build quality and just the general heft, and maybe not heft I guess, but the general feel. Like it's a very rigid sort of premium feeling laptop. The only slight issue is that with my pre-production unit, there is a little bit of flex on the bottom of the chassis. However, I actually did get to take a look at another Blade Stealth, and that didn't have this problem, so I'm assuming it's just an early issue. Remove a few Torx screws on the bottom and you have easy access to the internals of the laptop. So there's not a lot that you can work on here. So the SSD is user upgradable if you would like. Unfortunately, the RAM is soldered down, but it is actually a really nice little design here. And importantly, you can see that they have completely redesigned the thermal solution, mostly because, you know, they added a full GPU inside. So we've got 2 fans. There's also a decently sized 53 watt-hour battery, and that's good in my experience for somewhere between 6 to 7 hours of battery life. I just realized, why does it say Pro on the inside? Is this like a prototype? Oh yeah, that actually is a prototype. What could Pro mean? Oh right, because they sent me a pre-production unit. The ports have also been slightly tweaked. In addition to the Thunderbolt 3 port and 2 USB-A's, we also now have a secondary USB-C port as opposed to HDMI. Good stuff. Then there's the screen. Now on paper, this is actually a downgrade. So we're going from an 1800p touchscreen down to a 1080p non-touch display. I actually prefer this though, and a big reason is battery life. So going down to 1080p means we have to push a lot less pixels, and on top of that, it's one of the new ultra efficient 1.5 watt panels, which helps to contribute to that pretty decent 6 to 7 hours of battery life. Now if you do really want a touchscreen and more resolution, there is a 4K touch panel option, but as far as I'm concerned, this is the sweet spot. It's helped by excellent inputs. So not only do we have a Windows Precision touchpad here, but I don't know what kind of wizardry Razer is doing, but this is among the nicest I've ever tried on any Windows laptop. Now it does have a very smooth glass surface, but the tracking is really on par with a lot of the best laptops on the market. Then there's the keyboard. Now it is using custom Razer switches, and to my taste, I wish it would be just a little bit lighter, but I think a lot of people will be very happy not only for typing but also with gaming on this guy. And of course, it does have the full chroma RGB support to customize it however you want. Played Fallout, you know what I'm talking about. A bunch of birds are getting lit on fire as they fly through the sky. The speakers are also great. So this actually has a quad speaker setup, so it has a pair of 2-watt speakers on either side. And as far as the laptop goes, again, it sounds really good. Are you sensing a trend here? The Razer Blade Stealth does a lot of things very, very well. What's not so great is the webcam. As you guys can see, it's fine and it is 720p, but the main issue here is that the Windows Hello support, which is included, just doesn't work all that reliably. It's rare that I review a laptop that does so much right. Razer definitely did their homework with the Blade Stealth this year. The only thing I can really ding them for is price. To get that MX150, which you really should opt for if you do have the Razer Blade Stealth, you have to get the mid-spec model, which does come in at a pretty expensive $1,600. Considering the entire package though, it's so dope that I really can't even complain. It's so dope that I can't complain. That's a tagline for their website. Razer, if you want to put that on the accolades, it's so dope I can't complain, Awesome 2018, feel free.